And welcome back to Fast Food Face Off. Today, we're doing an ultimate appetizer sampler review with TGIFridays and Applebees. Let's crush some calories.
Fast food, face off! Fast food, face off! Fast food, face off!
Okay, so we have TGIFridays classic combo, which is potato skins, buffalo wings, mozzarella sticks. I had to order the spinach and artichoke dip on the side because it just kind of comes with these three in their sampler, and Applebee's actually has spinach and artichoke dip already included in their sampler. So just to make things a little bit more even, I put chips against chips and, kind of appetizers against appetizers. Enough talking, let's crush it. I'm gonna get started with the potato skins just because I haven't had these in a really long time, so I'm curious to see what they taste like.
Welcome back, history buffs. We're going to be doing some fun facts and history along the way for TGIFridays and Applebee's, so stay tuned.
You get a nice external crisp on the outside of these, and then a baked potato-y vibe kind of going on the inside. You get the nice melty cheese, the crisp bacon, good salt balance. There's some texture there. It's a really nice bite. For me, it's almost nostalgic. I remember being a kid and kind of going to some of these places, somehow always like endless amounts or half price apps rather. But I haven't had any of this stuff in a while, so it's just kind of like flooding back those kind of memories. Big shout out to TGIFridays, honestly, just on the packaging alone. When I saw the picture of this on their website, whoever did their food photography honestly didn't do it justice. It looked a little plain, if I'm being honest. And then I got the actual food, and the packaging was great, kind of like the layout of the food. It was visually appealing and appetizing. Just something to note.
Credited with introducing potato skins back in 1974, in 2010 alone, Fridays served enough that if you laid them from end to end, it would stretch from Dallas all the way to Anchorage.
Remember, if you guys enjoy the content, smash that like button. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and let's share this video around so that we can grow the Tasty Vibe tribe. So next up, we have their boneless wings. I went just traditional buffalo on this, and then the same for Applebee's. First bite. So I actually really like the flavor on these. It's got like a tang and like a subtle spice. It's nice. I do wish, if I'm being honest, just a bit more crispier. Again, sometimes it's hard to expect that stuff, especially when you're taking this to go. But the overall flavor of the chicken itself, and the fact that it's not really too dried out, even though it's breaded chicken, which sometimes can be dried out, it's really tasty. And then when you pair it with the sauce, obviously it's a solid boneless wing. So these actually remind me of the boneless chicken kickers that Domino's used to have, and these are kind of like that, just big chunks of white breast meat chicken, and then a good kind of buffalo flavor on there, and then just the accompanying sauce. You really can't ask much more from boneless buffalo, right?
Are you single and like to mingle? Well, you can thank Alan Stillman, the owner of TGIFridays, for opening up his first co-ed bar in 1965 in the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
Next up, we have the mozzarella sticks. Now, interesting to note is that the mozzarella sticks from TGIFridays are a little bit shorter and thicker, and then the ones from Applebee's are a bit longer and thinner. Get your head out of the gutter. This is a family channel. But seriously, I am curious to see whether or not that plays into like, the textural elements of it, the breading and then the mozzarella cheese. Let's get into it. There's a nice balance being struck here between the breading and the filling. This is a pretty nice balance of the two. I do wish maybe there was just a bit more crunch coming from these, but that could honestly just be my particular TGIFridays. But overall, a really nice mozzarella stick. The marinara here is really nice as well. It's not overly sweet, it's not overly salty, it's seasoned well. There's a good herb blend going on there. And I also like my marinara sauce to be a bit on the chunkier side. I like to be able to kind of taste the chunks of tomato.
Fridays didn't only serve potato skins in 2010, they also sold over 27 million burgers, 10.8 million orders of buffalo wings, over 41 million pounds of fries, and enough chicken fingers to stretch from Miami to Seattle.
So last up, we have the spinach and artichoke dip. Now, there's a ton of chips here. I'm gonna do my best to try to kind of clean this plate up, but don't kill me if I don't eat every last chip. First bite. So it's actually pretty tasty. It's a salt bomb, right? So a lot of sodium, but there's a nice blend of the cheesy portion of this and the herby kind of earthy portion of this. You're still picking up the spinach, which I like in a spinach and artichoke dip. I'm a big fan of both of those things. As I get through this, I'll kind of let you guys know if I maybe pick up on some chunks of artichoke, but beyond that, this is really tasty. There was the chunks of artichoke right there. It gives a little bit of texture. The chips themselves are nice and crispy. They're not stale, they're fresh. They are a bit undersalted, but honestly, I get why TGIFridays would probably do that, because really everything that you're gonna dip these into or accompany them with is going to be plenty salt forward, where you really don't need an overly salty chip. You are getting a little bit of that kind of corn flavor coming through, and it's a solid, fast food restaurant style corn tortilla chip.
Winner of Friday's first National Bartender Olympics, John Bandy would go on to teach Tom Cruise some of his moves for the movie Cocktail, using the original Fridays location for its backdrop.
Also, as I get through this, there's what looks like little bits of either red pepper or carrot in there. It's not adding much in the way of texture, but it does add a little bit of a mild sweetness, I think, to the overall, flavor profile of this, and it's appreciated with how, salt forward this is. And comment down below, what kind of foods do you guys bring out to games for tailgating? So we have Applebee's appetizer sampler, and they come with chicken quesadillas, mozzarella sticks, boneless buffalo chicken wings, and then the spinach and artichoke dip. Just to note, I had mentioned it before, this was all just part of their appetizer sampler, whereas with TGIFridays, I had to order the spinach and artichoke dip separately just so that it was a good comparison of the two. I'm gonna get started with the chicken quesadilla. There's a lot of flavor in this. You get, the cheese, the chicken is fairly well seasoned. There's kind of, a bit of like Mexican seasoning in there. The complaint that I would have about it is that it's a pretty blonde looking tortilla, right? It's pretty pale. I just wish that it was a little bit, crisper and maybe it spent a little bit more time browning. But that being said, it is tasty. And I think the reason why I think it is so tasty is it reminds me, showing my age here, the chicken fajitas that they used to have at McDonald's once upon a time. This tastes just like that. Like the tortilla, the filling, the chicken, the cheese, all of it.
With their $50,000 loan in hand, married couple Bill and TJ Palmer opened up TJ Applebees RX for edibles and elixirs on November 9th, 1980 in Decatur, Georgia.
I feel like there's a cheese blend going on here, and it's nice. The way that it melted obviously is aesthetically appealing, but it gives a little bit of a balance. I'm not sure if it's Monterey Jack or something in there, but the flavor of the cheese, it's not just kind of one note, and it's appreciated. Last bite. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, because we're always posting fun content and getting feedback from you guys for future videos. So next up, we have the boneless buffalo wings, and to be honest, I'll let you guys kind of look at them. Some of these are a little bit on the smaller side. It is a little disappointing. Come on, Applebee, step your game up. It's one of those things that if you looked at this and you wouldn't eat it, why would you serve it? I remember these being better. The texture of these is a little toothy in a bad way, in that the chicken on the inside might have been dried out or overcooked. They also didn't strike the greatest balance with the breading. It does feel a little overly breaded. If I were to close my eyes, I'd have a hard time placing kind of that buffalo sauce. I don't know whether or not it's because maybe they didn't put enough of it, or maybe just the sauce they're using doesn't have as much punch as TGIFridays, but this definitely fell flat.
Remember when IHOP didn't want to be known for their pancakes? Well, that's because in November 2007, Dine Equity, one of the largest full-service dining companies in the world, brought both Applebee's and IHOP together in order to revitalize both of the brands.
So next up, we have the mozzarella sticks. Again, I am curious to see, the textural difference between these and then TGIFridays. I don't want to beat up Applebee's too much because their flavor profiles are on point. They're well seasoned. I just think that sometimes they miss out maybe on the textural experience, and it didn't help that the marinara is one, it's not chunky, and then this is a little bit overly sweet for me. So I got about 2 more mozzarella sticks, and then I'll start working my way on over to the spinach and artichoke dip. We're gonna finish it up with the spinach and artichoke dip. Let's see how the star of the show tastes.
Employing approximately 28,000 people in its over 1,800 locations, it's no surprise you can spot the signature Red Apple logo in over 15 other countries.
Very salt forward. You get a little bit of that creaminess and cheesiness that they would have in there in something like a spinach and artichoke dip. The spinach is there. I mean, I could see plenty of it, but for whatever reason, I'm not picking up a ton of the earthy vibe that spinach normally puts out. And then the artichoke pieces, from what I can kind of see, are a bit smaller, and you kind of lose them in the mix. Time for the final review, right? The name of the game here was honestly just textures and how it played into the overall balance of the bite. So Applebee's, TGIFridays, very similar restaurants. They kind of bring a lot of the same elements. People definitely know them for their appetizers. The better texture of the two was definitely TGIFridays. I enjoyed TGIFridays' flavor profile of their buffalo wings, whatever sauce it is that they use. I enjoyed that hot sauce, that texture of buffalo boneless wing, much more than I did from Applebee's. The mozzarella sticks, again, similar flavors, but texturally just completely different. Even the marinara sauces were drastically different. You had Applebee's, which was kind of a thinned out pizza sauce that was overly sweet in my opinion. And then you had kind of a chunky, hearty, herbed marinara that you got from TGIFridays, which your mileage may vary in which you kind of prefer, but I do think that overall it lended itself better to that style of mozzarella stick. The chips, it's kind of an inconsequential thing, but if you like more home style chips, you're definitely going to be a fan of TGIFridays. And if you're a fan of kind of what Tostitos bag chips are, supermarket style corn tortilla chips, you're going to probably like what Applebee's is doing more. The chicken quesadilla versus the potato skins, they were drastically different, right? But the companies thought enough to be like, we're going to have potato skins, potato skins, a little bit of sour cream. The quesadilla was tasty, and I think it was more tasty for me, again, because I said that it was reminiscent of something that I've had from McDonald's, but they didn't even think enough to be like, maybe we should put some sour cream or an accompanying sauce that will make this quesadilla stand out more, or at least, stand out apart from what we've already put alongside of it. With TGIFridays and Applebee's, the cost kind of played into it, and obviously calories will too, but the order of spinach and artichoke dip and then the Fridays combo came out to roughly $25, and then the price for the classic combo from Applebee's was just over $18 before tax. So that's roughly about a $7 difference. But in my opinion, even though it's maybe several dollars more, I do think the value of what you're getting for TGIFridays is better than what you would be getting from Applebee's. Calories wise, these were actually fairly similar, even considering that you got a larger spinach and artichoke dip, I think that they were only a couple of 100 calories off. Maybe something to the tune of about 500 or 600. We'll have it up here for you guys. The calories becomes negligible at that point, and I think that it just becomes a matter of bang for your buck and the overall flavor and texture and just what's the better buy. And in my opinion, I got to give this one to TGI Fridays. Thanks again for watching, guys. We always really appreciate it. This was the third and final video in our game day tailgate food series. Head on over to our Instagram so that you can find out what we have planned for the theming for next month in November. And remember, if you are what you eat, always eat amazing.